Okay,
I can see.
Okay, thank you. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining tonight's event, Pagkahiusa, Support for the Philippines. Um, it will just be a quick event explaining the conditions of the Philippines after the aftermath of the Super Typhoon Rai, locally known as Odette. And yeah, we'll discuss this through the presentation. The program would be as follows. Um, we'll discuss what the typhoon was. It's the Filipino culture, and especially during Christmas, how and where to pledge, donate, and leave a message for the victims of the typhoon. And then, since we have some students here with us today that are currently in the Philippines who firsthand experienced the typhoon, they will share their stories. And then we'll announce the second event in January for the further fundraising. So Typhoon Rai is a strong typhoon. It was a Category 5 typhoon. It had sustained winds of 195 kilometers per hour with maximum of 260 kilometers per hour. It is the 15th typhoon that struck the Philippines this year, because Philippines is a typhoon-prone archipelago that experiences as much as 20 typhoons every year. So it made landfall on December 16th, just 1 week before Christmas. And let's watch a video on what happened during the typhoon. This is the strength of the typhoon.
Nabidyo na ko ba? Isa lang balay.
Near the coastal areas, storm surge was expected. It struck mainly in the afternoon, at night, and morning. So some people. It brought torrential rains in multiple areas, and yeah, as you can see, it struck at night. It became harder for a lot of people, especially when the electricity got cut off, when the electricity poles and everything got blown down. In some rural areas where houses are built with light materials, you can see that there's much more destruction. Some areas were totally obliterated. Roads were also blocked, making it harder for people to move out after the typhoon. Here you can see some rescuers. In this video, inside the black thing, there's a 1 month old
1 year
baby.
old dyan, 1 year old.
1 year old.
1 month old.
baby that they had to rescue amidst the very high levels of
Yoy. Na, luoy. Mo na nitabo sa bagyo bay.
you can see that it really did a lot of damage. So here are some pictures from the students themselves in their houses. What was the damage? And here you can see that they put like a temporary roof because their whole roof was blown away. Here was like on the backyard or on the just around the house of one of the students in Gina's as well. So just to give like a little bit of information, as you saw in the early part of the video, this is the path of the typhoon in the central area. What was also unique about the typhoon's landfall was that just before it made landfall, just a few hours or about 1 day before, it was still a little weak. Like they expected a lot of rain, but the winds were not as strong yet. But this usually happens in a lot of Philippine typhoons that enter the Philippines because of the area right next to the Philippines. There's the Philippine Deep Trench. So because of that those deep waters and stuff, a lot of typhoons intensify rapidly just as they approach landfall. So a few hours before it made landfall, it went from like a category 3, 4, and then it immediately went to 5. So a lot of areas expected it to be like just a normal typhoon, and then they weren't able to prepare as much as they should have. Here in just one area, these are the rising numbers of the dead, the injured, and the people displaced. Overall, there's been hundreds of thousands misplaced, millions affected. The death toll has reached about 200 something, but it continues to rise each day. There's still a lot of areas that were not reached because of closed roads and because of the lack of telecommunication and electricity.